in the Annika Pro-Am. As it says here, it will take the Gainbridge ambassador Caitlin Clark returns to play this Wednesday. No, not this Wednesday. In the Wednesday, November 12th Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club as part of the Annika driven by Gainbridge will play Wednesday, November 12th at Pelican Club. Pro-Am tickets are $25 and event organizers. Now peep this. Business is booming when Caitlin is involved. Pro-Am tickets are $25 and event organizers saw demand increase 1,200% for the Pro-Am because of Clark, one of the most popular figures in the sports world. 1,200%.
1,200%. Let that number sink in for a second. Not 12%, not 120%. 1,200%. That's the surge in ticket demand for a single golf event. And it happened because one basketball player decided to show up. Business is booming when Caitlin Clark is involved, and event organizers saw demand increase 1,200% for the Pro-Am. One of the most popular figures in the sports world just proved once again that she doesn't just move needles, she breaks them. But here's what should keep every WNBA executive awake at night. That 1,200% surge, it didn't happen at a WNBA arena. It happened at the LPGA's Annika Pro-Am at Pelican Golf Club. While Commissioner Kathy Engelbert continues to fumble basic marketing decisions about the league's biggest star, the LPGA is making Caitlin Clark the centerpiece of their November event. And the difference in how these two leagues treat generational talent isn't just embarrassing anymore. It's a masterclass in what happens when leadership either gets it or completely misses the point. You've been connecting these dots for months. Many of you have been saying this in the comments. And honestly, you were onto something. Every major sports league in America understands Caitlin Clark's value. The NFL sees it. The NBA sees it. Major League Baseball gets it. Even golf, a sport she plays casually in her spare time, has figured out how to turn her presence into a cultural phenomenon. But the WNBA, the league she actually plays in, the league that should be building an empire around her, they're still debating whether she's earned the spotlight. If you believe the story behind the story matters, if you think leadership decisions shape everything we see on the court, smash that like button right now. It tells us we're on the right track, digging into the business side that too many people want to ignore. Let's filter out the noise and look at what actually happened here. Caitlin Clark is returning to the Annika Pro-Am on November 12th at Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida. This isn't some random celebrity appearance. This is her second year participating, and last year's event shattered every expectation anyone had. The WNBA star enjoyed her time at the Annika so much that she's running it back. She's scheduled to participate in the Pro-Am, and the LPGA isn't treating this like a cute crossover moment. They're treating it like the business goldmine it actually is. $25 tickets. That's all they cost. And demand exploded by 1,200%.
Colton Herta and Marcus Erickson served as the caddies. Come on, man.
All right, everybody, welcome back.
I think the cool thing about that is just you felt the energy in the room, the amount of women sitting in there and so passionate about being a leader in their space, whether it was sport, whether it's business, whatever it is. I think that was what's so cool about it. And obviously getting to sit next to Annika on stage is pretty special for myself. So I think a lot of things that me and Annika said is we share a lot of the same values, and I think that's really cool, being driven, but so do they at the same time. Like, obviously we're professional athletes who played sport or whatever it was, but at the same time in their lives, it all relates. And I think people at times forget that we're real humans too, and we're driven by the same things that they are, maybe just achieving things a little bit differently, and whatever it is, but you could just feel the energy and excitement in the room, and I thought that was what's so cool about it.
Think about the math on that. If organizers expected to sell 1,000 tickets, they suddenly had 13,000 people trying to get in. Even if they planned for 2,000, the demand hit 26,000. That's not golf event numbers. That's arena-level buzz. That's what happens when you put Caitlin Clark's name on a marquee and actually promote her the way a star should be promoted. Last year's event wasn't just well attended, it became a spectacle. The Golf Channel went live during her round. They had a reporter walking down the fairway conducting interviews while she played. Most Pro-Am groups draw maybe a dozen fans, sometimes a handful more. Caitlin Clark had thousands following her every shot. She played the front nine with Nelly Korda, the world number 1, and the back nine with Annika Sorenstam herself, one of the greatest golfers in history and the event's host. And here's what should terrify WNBA leadership. Annika Sorenstam, a Hall of Famer who has seen every type of celebrity golfer stroll through these events, had nothing but genuine praise for Caitlin. It was an honor to play the Pro-Am with Caitlin last year. The crowds were amazing, and we are excited for her return in November. She added such a great dynamic to our event. Her passion for golf and competitiveness were fun to witness firsthand. That's not polite sponsor talk. That's one elite athlete recognizing another and publicly stating that Caitlin Clark doesn't just show up for photo ops. She competes. But let's dig deeper into what's really happening here, because this goes beyond one successful golf event. Gainbridge, the title sponsor of this LPGA tournament, didn't wait around for Caitlin Clark to become a WNBA sensation. They signed her during her senior season at the University of Iowa. They saw the vision before the draft, before the record-breaking rookie season of it, before any of the mainstream hype. While the WNBA was still figuring out how to even talk about her, Gainbridge had already locked in a partnership. Now they're cashing in. Caitlin's presence elevates the game of golf, strengthens her own brand, and expands her empire beyond basketball. Meanwhile, her own league is still arguing about whether she's too popular, whether she deserves special treatment, whether the attention she generates is somehow unfair to other players. The LPGA isn't having that debate. They know exactly what they have, and they're building their marketing strategy around it. Every major sports league understands what the WNBA refuses to acknowledge. Caitlin Clark isn't just talented, she's a generational marketing force. The kind that comes around maybe once in a decade if you're lucky. The NFL knows it. The NBA knows it. Baseball knows it. And now golf is proving it with a 1,200% ticket surge that makes every other crossover celebrity event look like a soft launch. Reading between the lines reveals something uncomfortable for WNBA supporters. The league has spent months trying to manage Caitlin Clark's popularity instead of capitalizing on it. They've let her get physically targeted on the court without adequate protection. They've allowed a narrative to fester that suggests her success somehow diminishes other players. They've failed to create the kind of accessible, star-driven marketing that every other professional league treats as basic business strategy. And while they've fumbled all of that, the LPGA stepped in and said, "We'll take it from here. This isn't just about golf. This is about what happens when leadership understands star power versus when leadership actively works against it." Annika Sorenstam put it perfectly when she said she looks forward to having Caitlin back and continuing to introduce the great game of golf to the next generation. That single sentence should be a wake-up call. A Hall of Famer in another sport sees Caitlin Clark as a bridge to an entirely new audience. She recognizes that fans don't just support Caitlin, they migrate with her. And instead of fighting that reality, the LPGA is embracing it and turning loyalty into measurable growth. Meanwhile, the WNBA still hasn't figured out how to do the same thing with their own product. Where's the strategic marketing? Where's the accessibility? Where's the protection for their biggest draw? Or are they just waiting for momentum to magically appear without putting in the foundational work? The contrast couldn't be sharper. One league sees a generational talent and builds an ecosystem around her. The other sees the same talent and treats her like a problem to be managed. And the results speak for themselves. 1,200% ticket surge, thousands of fans following every shot, national media coverage for a Pro-Am golf event. That's what smart leadership looks like. Drop a comment right now. Tell me if you think the WNBA is making the biggest marketing mistake in sports history. by not fully embracing Caitlin Clark. Because honestly, watching another league capitalize on her star power while her own league fumbles basic strategy is getting harder to defend every single day. Let's talk about what authenticity actually looks like in sports marketing. Caitlin Clark sitting next to Annika Sorenstam on stage, talking about the energy in the room, the passion she felt from women leaders in their spaces. That wasn't scripted sponsor content. You could hear the genuine excitement in her voice. She talked about how much she admires Nelly Korda and Annika, how she shares their values, how driven athletes are real humans achieving things in different ways. That competitive fire she brings to every three-pointer. It shows up on every fairway too. 180 yards of pure intensity that mirrors everything she does on the basketball court. This is what separates stars who fade during the off-season from the ones who dominate the conversation year-round. Caitlin only played 13 games this season because of the WNBA's short schedule. Most athletes would disappear during those long breaks. The spotlight shifts. Fans move on.
She's going to participate in the same event that she was in last year, which garnered a hell of a lot of attention. A ton of attention. Caitlin Clark will run it back at the LPGA event. WNBA star will compete in the Annika Pro-Am, Annika Sorenstam.
But Caitlin refuses to fade into the background. She stays visible and relevant through genuine passion projects, not fake PR stunts, not corporate obligations she clearly doesn't care about, real competitive opportunities where she can showcase her versatility and keep her brand alive. The LPGA understands this. They're not just tolerating Caitlin Clark's presence. They're openly admitting she's the main draw. They're not hiding behind buzzwords or corporate speak about growing the game. They straight up said she's great for business. Ticket sales surge, broadcast trend. And instead of pretending that's somehow unfair to other golfers, they're embracing the reality that a rising tide lifts all boats. Other players benefit from expanded visibility. Gainbridge strengthens its brand. The LPGA attracts new audiences. Everyone wins when a league understands its star power and builds around it instead of trying to dilute it. Compare that to the WNBA's approach. While the LPGA is protecting and showcasing Caitlin Clark like she's gold, her own league lets her get physically targeted almost every night. While golf is creating premium experiences around her appearances, basketball is questioning whether she's even earned the attention. The difference isn't subtle. It's a canyon-sized gap in leadership philosophy. And here's what makes this even more revealing. Annika Sorenstam specifically praised Caitlin's competitiveness. That's significant. Annika doesn't hand out compliments lightly. She compared Caitlin's intensity to Michael Jordan's legendary golf competitiveness, that rip-your-heart-out mentality that defines true champions. When a Hall of Famer recognizes that fire in someone from another sport, that's the ultimate endorsement. It confirms what fans already know. Caitlin Clark isn't playing around. She's not collecting easy sponsor checks. She's actually there to compete, to improve, to earn respect from the best in whatever arena she enters. This November 12th event at Pelican Golf Club is going to be massive. Tournament organizers learned from last year. They're ready this time? More tickets, expanded hospitality, bigger spaces. Because when Caitlin's name is on that marquee, lightning doesn't just strike once, it sells out twice. The LPGA knows exactly what they're doing. They're turning a single Pro-Am appearance into a cultural moment that generates coverage, drives revenue, and introduces golf to audiences who might never have watched a tournament otherwise. Meanwhile, back in basketball land,
Yeah. All roads lead to the Annika Pro-Am. Trust me, all roads, all cameras, all people will be tuned in to the Annika Pro-Am. Why? To see the GOAT. Caitlin had an endorsement deal with Gainbridge, the title sponsor of this LPGA event, since her senior season at the University of Iowa. See, Kathy, you talking about without the WNBA, the girl wouldn't have been making 16 million. She been getting money with these people while she was at Iowa. She been getting to the bag before the WNBA. Sorry. That would never work here. The WNBA needs to be grateful of Caitlin Clark, not the other way around. Okay. I had an amazing time at Annika last November and participating in the Pro-Am alongside Nelly.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is still trying to figure out basic marketing strategy. The disconnect is stunning. Every league from the NFL to Major League Baseball to the NBA recognizes Caitlin Clark's value. They understand that generational talents require generational marketing approaches, but the WNBA, they're letting that opportunity slip through their fingers while another sport reaps the benefits. Connecting the dots reveals an uncomfortable truth about women's sports leadership. The WNBA had every advantage here. They had first access to the biggest star women's basketball has seen in decades. They had a built-in audience ready to support her. They had sponsors lining up to be associated with her success. And somehow, they still managed to fumble the execution so badly that golf is now showing them how it's done. You were right when you noticed this pattern months ago. This isn't about one event. This is about systemic failure to understand what builds sustainable leagues. The LPGA gets it. They see Caitlin Clark as an investment in their future, a way to attract younger fans, a bridge to audiences that don't traditionally follow golf. They're using her crossover appeal to grow their sport, and they're doing it by simply letting her be herself. Competitive, authentic, genuinely passionate about improving her game. That's the lesson the WNBA refuses to learn. You can't fake this kind of star power. You can't manufacture it through committee decisions and corporate messaging. You have to recognize it when it arrives, protect it from unnecessary damage, and build your entire strategy around maximizing its impact. The LPGA did that. The WNBA didn't. And now we're watching golf generate 1,200% ticket surges while basketball argues about whether their biggest star gets too much attention. Here's what's coming next for Caitlin Clark. More crossover opportunities. More brands recognizing her value. More leagues outside basketball trying to capture even a fraction of her influence. And if the WNBA doesn't figure out how to properly market and protect their own generational talent, they're going to keep watching other sports benefit from what should have been their competitive advantage. If this kind of deep analysis into the business of women's sports is valuable to you, subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. We're going to keep following this story because, honestly, it's just getting started. Next video, we're breaking down exactly how much money the WNBA is leaving on the table by mismanaging Caitlin Clark's brand. The numbers are going to shock you. November 12th. Mark your calendars, not just to watch great golf, but to witness what happens when leadership understands star power. The Annika Pro-Am is going to be must-watch content, and it's happening because one league recognized what another league keeps missing. That's the real story here, not about golf versus basketball, about smart business versus missed opportunities, about embracing greatness versus managing it into mediocrity. Stay locked in. This conversation is far from over.